Good morning, TD Bob here. Today I'd like to tell you a little bit about what it's like to get around in North Thailand. A lot of times the people who give you information are either making profit from it, have some other considerations in mind, and here's some stuff from a guy that lives here and rides several times a week. Now, it's my contention that there are substantially more excellent roads in Thailand than the tour guides tell you about. And a lot of the area inside of the Mae Hong Son Loop, which is famous, is bigger than Maryland, and North Thailand is a lot bigger than most people realize too. But I'm going to tell you not just about motorcycles and roads. I'm going to tell you about the rental experience, the tour buses, the rural buses, minivans, taxis, songtaos, and tuk-tuks. Now, no matter what size equipment you're interested in, and whether you're a basket case like the gentleman on the lower left, or a whole ton of fun like the lady on the far right, or somewhere in between, the rental agencies in around Chiang Mai, if you want to rent and ride, you can get anything from a bicycle to a big sport bike. And the Harley Davidson dealer supposedly has rentals now too. Here are a few shots I'm going to show you from around North Thailand. Now here we have the Mae Hong Son Loop, which is basically Chiang Mai, Pai, Mae Hong Son, and a loop back in down near Doi Inthanon. And look at the map. If you don't even see the roads posted on the inside of that loop. That turns into a situation where you've got the unknown zone all inside that area, and like I said, it's somewhere between the size of Maryland and West Virginia. Now, I have talked to a lot of people, and I ride with a number of people, and I meet people when I'm out riding. And you start trying to talk to people, knowledgeable people, about this area inside of that loop, and well, duh starts being the answer more often than not. I've spent some time exploring this area, and one of the things I've noticed is when you're trying to use a computer to do your research, it'll get you down so small before the road numbers actually pop up that it's really difficult to figure out which way you're going, and you can spend a whole lot of time zooming in and out without really getting a good idea of what you want to do or which direction you're heading. Now, this to me is probably the best answer to that problem available. This is a map that was put together by rideasia.net. It's also available at Riders Corner in Chiang Mai. Yeah, I think it's available in Android, iPad, or whatever the Apple format is. And it's also available in wall-size maps. Now, what's good about this is it shows roads that are not seen by Google or Apple Maps. It shows roads that are not shown by Google Earth. It also has dirt roads marked that don't exist on most maps. So what you've got here is all of this information has been GPS checked. They didn't just, go by the county maintenance shed and ask them what they thought. They've actually ridden these roads over several years. And the map, I've got red marking the areas I've ridden in this particular part of Thailand. But the map is larger than what I'm showing you here. But this is something you can really find helpful because it shows you stuff you just simply can't find anywhere else. So here's my tip of the day. Whether you get this at Ride Asia electronically or whether you pick up a copy at Riders Corner in Chiang Mai, it's at the northeast corner of the city wall. They also have a hostel and a restaurant and a bar. So that's a good source of information. And if you want to go swap a few riding lives, the bar is open right through the day, any time of day, if you need to tell a few tall tales. Elephant camps are big business, and most people want to see them. There are dozens. Mesa is the biggest one in Thailand. This is just a look at some of the land northeast of the highest point in Thailand. This is far west of Samoing, and I'm not sure if that's Doi Sutup or Doi Intanon, that big bump in the distance. I have to say that the farmers, the tribal farmers use slash and burn agriculture, and there are certain times in the spring when it gets pretty bad. As soon as the rainy season hits, it knocks all that haze down. But at this moment, they're burning corn cobs and rice fields, and it's not as pretty as it could be. There are a number of villagers of Karen, Lehu, and various other tribal peoples that have migrated here from other areas. There's villages all around. It's another picture of some tribal farming. For people that burn the land and do some questionable practices, they certainly have symmetrical rows and well-tended fields here. It's an interesting contrast. Now here's some signs. People frequently ask me about the signs and what they look like. As you can see, most of them are bilingual. The elephant ones are fairly obvious, whether you can read Thai or not. And in the center, there's a picture of one of the lovely curves here in Thailand. This is west of this is west of Mai Win and Mai Wang. This is near Samoing. Now, there's some reasons why nobody knows about all this pretty area. First of all, Thailand is huge. It's bigger than California and South Carolina together. Just North Thailand is bigger than Nevada. So it's huge, and when somebody's here for just a short while, it's almost impossible to really make inroads into that much mileage. And information isn't always available in the format you want it. Also, I've been confused because I take cell phone photographs of road signs to help keep up with where I am. And many times when the signs on the city limits of the cities are different, or villages, are different than what's on the map. So it can provide a little bit of kind of confusion. But I have ridden these places, and my two riding buddies have been here in Thailand a total of 19 years. So between the three of us, we've got 21 years of back road experience, and one of my buddies is an off-roader. So what I'm telling you is there's some information that's not generally available, and we've shared some of it because we've gone to the trouble to ride these roads. Now, the people you're going to ask about rentals and where you should go, they're going to steer you toward the best known stuff, and in many cases, the guy who's the concierge at the place you're staying may possibly have a brother who's in the scooter business or the passenger van business, or a cousin who has a restaurant in Pai. Basically, you're going to get sent to the best known places, because those are the ones where you're unlikely to get lost. You're going to be supported by a tourist structure that's already in place. And really, if they send you out into the middle of what they consider nowhere, they know the maps aren't that good. they probably had to, tried to tell people about some of these places in the unknown zone. And, if they got people calling up for breakdown service in a real remote area, there are people that they already use for that sort of service are going to have more trouble doing it. It's going to take more time, and the cost to them for any given repair, if you're in the unknown zone, might be more. Now, also, you got to ask, who's telling you information about the roads and highways? The roads and highways are generally good. The Thai people do build on sandier soil than most people, and when the road starts coming apart, they generally jump on it. And there was a whole lot of paving west of Samoing and west of Chiang Mai this year during the winter. So, but if you've got a 16-year-old waitress telling you about running the Mae Hong Som loop on 1,000 RRs or something, you might take it with a grain of salt. Now, there's several ground transportation. There's several modes. You've got your regular bus that runs North Thailand, and they're about 30 passenger buses, and they don't sling you around like a smaller bus will. And they do run regular routes. There's a bus station here in Chiang Mai that any taxi driver or bus driver, or excuse me, there are no buses in Chiang Mai. There are no city buses. They do have the rural bus service. They also have minibus services, which are attached to many hotels, and just about any tourist facility can book you on a minibus. The minibuses don't get good reviews. The drivers have been driving these roads for a long time and typically scare the crap out of the people that are riding with them. And you cannot go to Pai or Mae Hong Son or any of the places where the minivans service heavily without seeing people that have gotten car sick out relieving themselves. So if you're going to use a minibus, they do go everywhere, but I've never really heard anybody who is entirely satisfied with that service. Now, you can buy motorcycles if you're here for more than 90 days, or if they're used, you can rent them. There are more rental places here than you can imagine. I've had real good luck with Tony's Big Bikes and also with Pop's Rental Services. They both do a good job. Taxis are the normal taxis. They're enclosed, air conditioned, and so forth. A tuk-tuk is a three-wheel motorcycle with a roof on it that are common, and they're kind of fun to ride in. Songtao is like a pickup truck with a camper shell on it and a couple of bench seats in it, and it's pretty cheap. It's about 30 baht to most places in town. Of course, everybody has to consider what measure of comfort they need. If you got to have a sedan chair to go over to this particular place, or if you want to walk, or if you feel like, how much safety you want to get involved with is, of course, your concern, or how adventurous you want to be. But the only real negative thing I would say, please evaluate minibus travel carefully. They are an area of public transport that has a disproportionate number of accidents, and the government is looking at regulation to try to improve that situation. Yes, the good news. Your GPS still works in most places. If you're out in the rural areas and you're not sure, there are people in these villages. If you just ride over and say Chiang Mai or Pai or Mae Hong Son, they'll point you in the right direction whether they speak a word of English or not. Most of the signs are bilingual, and I'm starting to believe that the ones that aren't are secret messages to the Thai people only that we don't need to know about. I've gotten fuel, food, tire services. I had tire services, and the people were nice enough to give me strawberries while I got them. And their bread and breakfast is out across this area. They're surprisingly good road surfaces. I spoke with a gentleman from France the other day, and he said that the roads in Thailand are better than the roads in France. The other very good thing about riding out in the unknown zone is there is minimal traffic. There are times when you go 10 to 12 minutes without seeing another vehicle, and when you do, you've got the road to yourself because the other vehicle is most usually a scooter. I will say be prepared. Sunburn is a significant issue. Most of the Thai people ride with long sleeves and long pants and often gloves. If you need sunscreen, you should be aware that in Thailand, 50% sunscreen is the most you can get. So if you need a higher percentage, you should get it before you enter the country. It's not illegal, they just don't sell it here. Always keep some water with you. It's easy to get dehydrated here, especially if you're riding down in the city. If you get up in the mountains, the opposite is true. I always take a hoodie and a couple of long sleeve t-shirts with me, even if I leave Chiang Mai in a t-shirt. It can get, especially in the morning, but up in the altitudes, it can get a dang sight chillier than you think. On small bikes, it's not hard to find the fuel services, but it doesn't hurt to keep working off of the top half of your tank on the smaller bikes. If you're on a larger bike, of course, you got more fuel. And here's one of my buddies who rides with me. He's been here 12 years, and this was his first time out on Highway 4016. He's just taking a look. We were exploring and saw this tower, and usually they put towers in the tallest point available. So we slipped on up there to see what it was like, and there we were. Now here's some additional resources for you. The renting motorcycles in Thailand blog spot will tell you the most if you really want to rent. Some other Thailand blogs that I have, the beginner photo tutorial is just basically exactly what it says. It'll teach you a little bit about photography. I'm a still photographer more than I'm just learning video myself. The photo visit to Krabi, Thailand, is South Thailand and isn't really in the subject matter of this blog, but it's also associated with Thailand. A week in Chiang Mai is probably the best, just like 100 still pictures of the city and a narrative about what day we did what and where we went. Chiang Mai street art is, the city has a lot of street art, and it's just a side blog we did. And Bad Brains Photos is photos from all over Europe, all over Asia, a few from the States, and I don't know if New Zealand qualifies as an Asian country or not. Anyway, I'm hoping some of this information may make some people's Thai vacation a lot more productive. It's taken me a number of years to assemble this information, and as I mentioned, I just found that Ride Asia map recently myself. So I'll put any addendums to this in my notes at any time I dig them up, and hopefully this will be something useful for you. Please like or share the video if you like it, or if you have some friends who might benefit from it. This is TD Bob from Chiang Mai, Thailand, hoping that information from somebody who lives here, rides here, and has made an effort to ride in areas that are not known well by the tourists. I hope it'll be a productive video for you. Thanks again for watching. TD Bob signing off.